Iran has enough enriched uranium right now to build multiple nuclear weapons, and despite 45 years of negotiations, sanctions, and deals worth over $2 trillion in economic impact, the United States and Iran remain locked in a diplomatic death spiral that threatens to reshape global power forever. Today, as uranium enrichment facilities spin at 60% purity, just 30 percentage points away from weapons-grade material, we're witnessing the most dangerous nuclear standoff since the Cuban Missile Crisis, and every peace deal has failed spectacularly. The roots of this crisis stretch back to February 1979, when Iranian revolutionaries stormed the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding 52 Americans hostage for 444 days, and shattering diplomatic relations that have never recovered. What most people don't understand is that this isn't just about nuclear weapons or regional influence. This is about two nations trapped in a psychological warfare cycle, where every gesture of peace is interpreted as weakness, and every defensive move appears as an offensive threat to the other side. The Shah's Iran was America's closest Middle Eastern ally, purchasing billions in U.S. weapons and serving as the region's police force. When Ayatollah Khomeini's revolution swept that partnership away, it created a strategic vacuum that neither country has figured out how to fill without destroying the other. The Islamic Republic built its entire legitimacy on resistance to American hegemony, while successive U.S. administrations have treated Iran as the primary obstacle to Middle Eastern stability. This fundamental ideological opposition means that even when both sides want to negotiate, their domestic audiences punish any leader seen as capitulating to the enemy. The most ambitious attempt to break this cycle came through the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, finalized on July 14, 2015. After 20 grueling months of negotiations between Iran and the P5+1 powers, including the United States, Britain, France, Germany, Russia, China, and the European Union, under this deal, Iran agreed to dismantle 2/3 of its centrifuges, ship out 98% of its enriched uranium stockpile, fill its plutonium reactor with concrete, and accept the most intrusive international monitoring regime in nuclear history. In exchange, the United States and European Union would lift sanctions that had cost Iran's economy over $200 billion. For nearly 3 years, the deal worked exactly as designed. International inspectors confirmed Iran's compliance with every major provision, uranium stockpiles dropped to 300 kilograms, and enrichment stayed at the harmless 3.67% level, suitable only for civilian nuclear power. Then President Trump withdrew the United States from the JCPOA on May 8, 2018, reimposing maximum pressure sanctions on over 1,000 Iranian entities, and effectively destroying the largest diplomatic achievement between Washington and Tehran since 1979. Iran waited exactly 1 year before responding, then systematically began violating every restriction the deal had imposed. Today, Iran's uranium stockpile sits at over 4,000 kilograms, 32 times the JCPOA limit, enriched to 60% purity in underground facilities that would survive most military strikes. Recent intelligence reports suggest Iran could sprint to weapons-grade material in less than 2 weeks if it chose to break out completely. The key players in this standoff represent some of the world's most intractable negotiating positions. Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei, now 84 years old and in power since 1989, has watched 5 U.S. presidents come and go, each promising a different approach to Iran policy. From his perspective, America's word means nothing because political cycles guarantee that any deal will be reversed by the next administration. President Biden attempted to revive nuclear diplomacy, but faced impossible domestic constraints after Trump's withdrawal shattered Iranian trust in American commitments. Iran's current president, Masoud Pezeshkian, elected on a platform of diplomatic engagement, discovered that even moderate Iranian leaders cannot make concessions without being destroyed by hardline rivals who view any compromise as betrayal. Meanwhile, Trump's return to political prominence means Iran must prepare for another potential maximum pressure campaign that could target their oil exports, banking system, and remaining international partnerships. The P5+1 framework that created the original deal has essentially collapsed, with Russia and China now viewing Iran as a strategic partner against Western sanctions, rather than a proliferation threat to be contained. European mediators find themselves caught between American demands for tougher Iranian concessions and Iranian demands for guaranteed sanctions relief that Washington cannot credibly promise. For India, this nuclear standoff creates impossible strategic dilemmas that directly threaten energy security and regional connectivity. Iran supplies roughly 10% of India's crude oil needs, representing over $20 billion in annual trade that becomes increasingly difficult to maintain under U.S. sanctions pressure. India's massive investment in Iran's Chabahar port, designed as a strategic gateway to Afghanistan and Central Asia that bypasses Pakistani territory, faces constant sanctions threats that could shut down this crucial connectivity project. New Delhi finds itself torn between its growing defense partnership with Washington, worth over $20 billion in recent arms deals, and its historical relationship with Tehran that provides vital energy resources and regional access. Every escalation in U.S.-Iran tensions forces Indian policymakers to choose between American alliances